Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this new series on Yii2. Yii2 is a framework for PHP. Now, before you all switch off and think PHP is old, about 70% of the web is written in PHP. So if you're looking for jobs on the internet, then quite simply, you need to know PHP. Also, big companies want you to know frameworks, and there are a number of frameworks that work with PHP. I prefer the Yii framework. It's just my own personal choice. I find it easier, it has reasonable defaults, it's not updated every 25 minutes. It's not upgraded every 25 minutes. It is updated regularly to keep it up to date and to make sure that the security is okay. But upgrades are not usually regular because, quite simply, once you've learnt a framework, you don't want to start learning things again. You want to actually do some work. Let's have a look at installing Yii. First thing you need to do is you need to have an AMP stack. Now, I'd recommend XAMPP. It's your choice again. If you don't want XAMPP, there are other AMP stacks out there. AMP stands for Apache, MySQL or MariaDB, and PHP or Python or Perl. You then need to install Composer. Now, I would recommend strongly that you have Composer as well as NPM, Node.js, that type of thing. And after you've installed Composer, you need to do a Windows reboot. I will put links up here to installing AMP and installing Composer, as well as I've got links to those. Next, we need to navigate to your source code directory after you've done your reboots. In Windows, I would strongly recommend that XAMPP goes into the czamp directory. Do not put it into program files. You will have all sorts of problems if you put it there. If you're on Mac or Linux, then it will go into the opt-lamp directory. You will need to check the permissions if you're on a Linux or Mac to make sure that you can write and read and that you have access to the htdocs directory. Okay, that is quite important. Again, I'll put a link at the top for Linux and Mac users so you can set your permissions. Permissions are not required for Windows, so if you're on a Windows machine, it doesn't matter about permissions. Once you've done that, you need to open a terminal window in this folder, whichever one you're using, and you actually write this line of code in the terminal window, and this will install Yii into this folder inside htdocs. You can call this anything you like. I've called it tutorial. Normally it's called basic, and you can leave it as basic if you wish. It will take a minute or two to install, as it's got to download quite a lot of things. And then once you've done that, you need to tidy up the folders, because the Yii standard install tends to put all sorts of things into the root of the tutorial, and I would prefer that it's tidied up, so I'll show you how to do that. There will be links to all of this in the documentation below, and if I'm not allowed to actually have some of these links, then they will be in a gist which I will link to. Okay, let's get started. So as you can see, I've moved to XAMPP htdocs. I'm on Windows here, but if you're in Linux, then using your Explorer, File Explorer, which is usually Nautilus, but it's again your choice, you can navigate to opt-lamp and then open a terminal window in that. In Windows, to open the terminal window, you click on the toolbar and type CMD and press enter, and what will happen is you'll get the terminal for that folder. Now, you then need to copy and paste the code which I have below, and this will now install. Press enter. It takes a moment. Don't worry about these warnings, it's because I've actually got an OpenSSL module in PHP set. During the install, Composer might ask for access to Git, and if you don't have a Git account, you need to create a Git account, and once you've done that, then you can actually get a token from Git for Composer. I'll put details either in a card at the end if I've run out of space for the links at the top of the screen, and there will be links to Git and everything else in the comments below. Okay, so that's it installed. Note that it's actually changed the folder runtime to 777, web assets to 777, and Yii to 755. When you actually FTP this up onto a live website, you'll need to make sure that these permissions are on the website, because sometimes this Yii executable is changed to 644, which will cause problems. Okay, so that's that done. Type exit and we will close the terminal window. As you can see, we have a folder now called tutorial, and there's lots of things in here. We now need to tidy up, so let's create a new folder called Yii2, and then we shall highlight nearly everything. Of course, we don't want to highlight the Yii2, we don't want to highlight web, we don't want to highlight git ignore, and we don't want to highlight the two MD files, markdown files. Okay, so we then move all of this into Yii2 very quickly. Okay, I would recommend that we change the name of the web file to public HTML. This is to remind you that this is public. Whatever is in here can be seen live on the web when you upload it. So everything that's in there will be public. Now, because we've moved some of the files, we do need to change these two files, index and PHP. So I'm just going to open them in Notepad++, and we need to change these 3 lines here and add Yii2, which is the folder that we created earlier. So I shall just copy that, paste, and save, and we'll do that one, and we need to do exactly the same. Yii2, whoops, Yii2, save. That's it. We're now installed, and this should be ready to run. This should now run in our browser, and what we will do is we'll come back in the next video and we'll look at using this with a IDE, integrated development environment, and see it in a browser. But that's it. That's Yii installed and the folders tidied up. So you have a folder called Yii2, which has all the main information in that you don't want people to be able to see, and then you have a folder called public HTML, which you do want the public to be able to see. Thanks for watching. Please leave any comments and press the like, and don't forget to subscribe so you get the latest update. My name's John, and I will see you next time.